He who creates controls. All right. It is the simple ideas that we must come to understand. Okay. Learning how to navigate, find which rules apply. And I promise you, I'll take this down now and I'll do it. We've gone an hour and 40 minutes now. I'll do the complaint another day. You're almost done with yours too, right?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm just a couple of things that it's weird. They love to move stuff around. Okay, they'll repeal something, or they'll move something somewhere. So a lot of times you're working with one thing, and then you look at it and go, oh, look, repealed 2021. Oh, damn it. And you got to go back and find it. So it's just I'm just going through and doing the fine tooth comb thing right now. It's done. The pleading's done. I actually could submit it right now, but I want it to be as perfect as possible. Okay. So that when they get it, they look at it and they go, it just doesn't look like this came from a pro se. This came from, so it's like something an attorney put together. We can't answer this.
Well, Gary's 21st date is tomorrow, and we haven't got a reply.
Motion for default judgment.
That's what we're gonna be working on if the reply doesn't come in by tomorrow.
Yeah, and motion for default judgment. They had their days. They didn't respond.
It's wonderful. When you think about these things, they have to answer, okay? And we've already sent in records, request for admissions, request for production.
Did they give anything back? Did they give any of your discovery back?
They haven't even answered their original complaint. But go on the offensive, guys. Don't just sit around. You move the court. I'm writing a motion in limine to include the video evidence for the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians, where the guy tells me this is tribal law. That's all you need to know. Get out. Well, if he wasn't acting on color of law, I don't know what is color of law. And here's the beautiful thing about the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians. They don't have statutes. They're common law. So that executive order is just like their law.
So they're bylaws. They're corporate bylaws.
They're corporate bylaws. That's all it is. They've got a constitution and corporate bylaws. The ordinance was the statute. It's just as good as a statute. So
when you hear the term ordinances and resolutions, corporate bylaws. Okay, they're not laws. They're corporate bylaws.
Yeah, and look, each one of these movements through the court system, and every time you get more experience, you're going to get better at it. You're going to be more research. You're going to spend more time. Read. If any of you have a federal case out there, you need to go pick up the jury instructions from your circuit of appeals. What you're going to find inside those jury instructions is that particular circuit's all the controlling case law for Title 42, 1983, 85, 88, all those, 2000, public discrimination. They're going to have all the controlling case law in it. There's a plethora of free information out there to help you write this case. And once you take the jurisdictionary course, you apply the basics. You got elements that must be proven. Okay, each element must be pled in order for you to actually state a cause of action which the court can grant relief. It's not complicated, but when you start talking with these law attorneys everywhere, like the attorney, one of the ideas is it's frivolous. It can't be frivolous because it's a constitutional right violation. It can't be frivolous because somebody somewhere violated my rights.
And what's good now with the Telegram groups, we're starting to get people that are actually filing federal suits. Like James the Patriot's got some, you got some, and mine are coming. And you're going to start to see a lot of them got them posted already. James got some of his suits posted. I don't know if you posted yours yet. Or I'm sure you will be posting it. But you'll have an outline there. You'll have an outline there, sort of how to put the case together. Yeah, the details are going to be different, but you'll have it's like building a house, basically. You got the foundation, you got the walls, you got the roof, and now we're just talking about what we're going to put in the house, the rooms, okay? So, but the structures are all going to be the same on these suits. The headers are going to be the same. The relief is going to be the same. It might be a different figure, but now we're going to talk about what's inside the house, which is why you need to know the jurisdictionary course, because you'll read Brandon's suit or James the Patriot's suit or my suit, and you'll go, okay, this is similar, but mine's going to look like this, and I'm going to do this. So you're going to have an outline to follow for it. It's not like, gee, I have no idea how to write a suit. You're going to have some decent suits to look at and to follow.
I said that was an option at Tenempona. I never did anything. I quit filing returns. And there's a group of people out there that says, don't do that, whatever. And they vouch for the 1040 NR. I waited till I got my notice of deficiency. I showed everybody how I did mine. Okay. I got the notice of deficiency, and I spent 3 years writing letters back to 4 different heads of IRS, and every single one of them ended up sending me a copy back. They need more time to research your code. So if they ever bring a claim against me, I got the evidence to sue them. They could not validate their claim that I owed them money. So I mean, it's just simple. No, there's other ways to do it. I told people my way. I told people about the 1040 NR. I know the way that worked for me. That's it. I know which way it worked for me. All right. Anybody got any good comments, questions before we sign off here? Anybody? I can't believe we only had 150 people in here for an Alphonse and Brandon. I got to do a better job at marketing this stuff. I don't care, man.
No. It'll get out there. It'll get posted. It'll get seen.
Yeah, it'll get some traction.
We had we had the other guy in the groups. I think he might be popping in your group too. A guy named did you see Murder Hornet?
Yeah, I have seen Murder Hornet.
He filed a something. I forget the exact details, but he had to show his papers, his medical papers. They forced him or tried to force him to wear a mask. I think they tackled him. Well, he sued them. Okay. He got the judge to sign an order. They were supposed to have a mediation. Okay. And the other party never showed up for the mediation. So he filed for sanctions against the other party for 10 grand. Guess what happened? The judge signed it.
Yeah.
Judge signed it. Guess what? He got his money for the sanctions. He got his 10 grand. And his initial offer to settle with him was 50 grand. They doubled that to 100 grand. Oh. Now, he didn't want to take that. He wants more money. Whatever. That's up to him, whatever he wants to decide he wants. But he didn't do this through his birth certificate. He didn't do this through his secret trust. He did it by filing a lawsuit in federal district court saying, who the hell are you people to make medical determinations for me, to tell me I got to wear a mask, and that when I didn't wear the mask, you physically assaulted me, okay? Yeah. You committed crimes against me. And at first they laughed at him, and then when he filed his paperwork, they no longer laughed, okay? When the lawsuit got filed, they no longer laughed, you know?
Well, no, it's like, so the shots went out when we gave one last good faith effort to settle out of court. You know, Gary and I, the shots went out. Why are they suing us? It's not for masks. It has nothing, to me, it has not. Yeah, the mask is one of the tools, but it has to do with the people, the Gestapo, stopping you seized my movement of freedom. That's what you did.
That's what we were talking about the other day. It's funny. It's an art of pleading. It's weird. Like, say I got busted for carrying a gun without a permit, okay, which we know is nonsense. All right, I have a right to carry a gun. If I sued him in federal district court, I don't go argue that I got a right to carry a gun. I don't argue that. Oh, here's my argument. Listen, I was walking down the street, okay, and this guy accosted me. This guy, a municipal corporation employee, known as a police officer, assaulted and battered me for some reason. I don't know why he did that.
Yeah.
I don't say anything about the gun. He said this. I don't understand. He assaulted and battered me. It's up to him to turn around and argue, well, Mr. Fagiola was carrying a gun without a permit. Here's his problem. We talked about pecking order. I already have the constitutional right to have the gun. I don't need to argue the right. It's a given, okay? It's up to him to explain how the statute that he was following of me having to have a permit somehow superseded my right. That statute that was created under that Constitution, it's up to him to argue how his statute superseded my right to have the gun. So it's an art and pleading where don't go arguing rights you already have. Argue what they've done to violate you, basically, you know, and let them come back and argue why they did it. Hey, listen, we tackled Brandon because the governor said you had to have a mask. Well, good luck trying to plead that or answer a pleading like that, because there are no laws like that. And like what Brand was talking, we're talking about the like something like concealed carry permit. Well, these are administrative laws. This is not constitutional law. These are administrative laws, okay? They can't control whether you have a gun or not. That's a protected right in the Second Amendment. In Pennsylvania, guess what? You can open carry. No permit, okay? But if you conceal it, you need a permit. Does that make any sense to anybody?
No.
Okay, either have a gun or you don't, right? And we know that the Second Amendment says what? It says there's no...
Shall not. Shall not.
What's the exact words? Shall not be infringed.
Shall not
be infringed. Now, it doesn't say, hey, listen, you can carry a gun, except you can't conceal it. You're going to need a permit for that. This is administrative law that basically they're trying to impose upon people. These are administrative laws. So when you argue this stuff, you do not argue your right to have the right, okay? You argue, hey, these, like the tax thing, here's the argument. I've looked at Title 72, Title 53, the Local Tax Enabling Act, Title 71, the Reform Act. I can't find anywhere in any statute where it states an agency of the state or an employee of the state can take property from the people. Can't find it anywhere.
You're not going to find it anywhere.
I'm not arguing about, like Brandon said, it's not a tax suit. My suit's really not a tax suit, okay? My suit is, I don't know what these people are talking about. They're saying, they're taking money saying I'm a taxpayer, but I'm reading the definitions of taxpayer in Pennsylvania, and a taxpayer is defined as a legal entity registered with the state, conducting business in the state. This isn't me. So I'm not going to argue I'm not a taxpayer. I will argue that, I will state that, but the underlying principle of the argument is, hey, listen, here's what a taxpayer does. That's not me.
That's
okay?
Right.
Now, I'm not going to argue taxes are unconstitutional. Taxes are not unconstitutional, okay? Taxes can be imposed upon what, Brandon? Corporations, okay? They're not illegal in that matter.
You have to have some form of revenue. You do, okay? But we went from a free people from the 30s to the 50s with the propaganda. Everybody moved to the suburbs and all that crap, and we gave up our freedom of property and everything else to go live the corporate nightmare. And guess where we are now? We're inside that corporate nightmare.
Yeah, it's sort of like what I said, like boiling the frog. You put it on cold, and it'll never know he's being boiled. Well, that's what they do with the property tax stuff. When property taxes first started, I think when my parents moved from Philadelphia to Ridley Park, I think their taxes were like a couple $100, $200-300, nothing, right? Now we're up to about $7,000. Well, when does that stop? Because we all know the income levels are not meeting the housing prices. Okay,
that's right.
In other words, the housing prices. You go look at a housing scale. Within the last 6 months, it's like a hockey stick. They've doubled. Okay, I've looked at houses in Florida that were on the water for $275,000 8 months ago. Now they're like $500,000-600,000. Now the house is going up, okay, but people's incomes haven't doubled in the last 6 or 7 months. So it's going to, listen, if you don't get a hold of this stuff and learn how to do this stuff, it's just a matter of time before they're going to tax you out of your house. You're going to work all your life, live in your house, you're going to retire, and then your taxes are just going to go so high, your property taxes, they're literally going to tax you out of your own home because you're not going to be able to afford to live there, okay? And that's sort of what got Steve into doing this stuff. Friends of his lived on the lake, and the mother was moving. The father had passed away, and the mother was moving, and he said, well, why would you be moving? You got everything paid off. And she said, I can't afford the taxes. He said, well, that doesn't make any sense. And that's where all of us are, okay? If you don't get these people, like Steve said, away from you and away from your property, they will literally take everything you have by taxing it away from you. That's right. Why we do this, to wake people up, to teach them how to fight this.
Yeah, and it's very simple. The truth is that it's taken inch by inch until it's a mile, right? And look, listen, a lady who bought her house for $60,000-70,000 back in 1970 is now paying $9,000 a year, and she's 68-70 years old. That's criminal. That's criminal, and it's insanity to me that now you look at the report for the justification. I got one report for the justification as from a records request on why the taxes were, and it states on top schools. Okay. The second line is the county maintained and operated, and the third line is hospitals, and it was $9,000 tax. So you are officially paying for the services that are destroying your entire society.
You're funding your own destruction.
You're funding your own destruction. That's why they're putting up these hospitals on every corner. When I was a kid, and I know you know this too, there was one hospital in the area, right? Maybe two in a major city, maybe three. But dude, there's a hospital on every corner, everywhere you go now.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at these police vehicles they have. They look like something out of Batman. The cops got like 2 computers in there, and they got all these they got Humvees that are militarized, and they don't need that stuff. They were never supposed to have that stuff. Okay, they don't need that stuff. And so what they're doing is they're looting tax money from the people because the people don't know any better, and they're using it to oppress the people. That money they're taking from you, they're creating these municipal courts, putting these judges in there, paying them all this money to bring you in there and violate your rights. Okay, you're funding your own destruction, is what you're doing.
That's the truth. All right, buddy. Well, I thank you for coming on again. Hey, listen, what I do, I'll call you sometime in the next few days. I've got a few things coming up, especially if they default tomorrow. I'll probably call you for a little advice on that. But if you do get yours sent in and the summons done, we might share them together. I'm going to post it on. I told the guys on Telegram that I was going to post it. So Gary, I'll post the complaint tomorrow on Telegram. It's a very well written complaint, guys. We worked on it for 7 months. Here's the crazy thing, and Alphonse attests to this. Today I read it and I find something I could change.
No, dude, it's amazing. It's amazing. You just. It's like there's a goblin somewhere that comes in and goes, he's sleeping. Here, go change that. I mean, you always find something.
You can't help it. But eventually I told Gary 3 weeks ago, whatever, I said, listen, I got to stop looking at it.
Listen, I'm a recording engineer. Okay? I used to mix songs for a living, okay, and record. Listen, mixing, here's what mixing is. You'll mix, and you get the song sounding really good, You could literally mix for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, okay? You have to hit a point and say, you know what? This is good enough, okay? Because it becomes paralysis by analysis, okay?
Yeah.
You'll just never – you got to get it to a certain point, like Steve said. When I got the property tax suit written, I was asking him certain questions about the suit. And he said, listen, hey, listen. He said, don't get all hung up on the other stuff. He goes, listen, that whole suit comes down to this. There's no return. Okay, so there can be no assessment and there can be no tax. All the other stuff, don't get hung up in all that. In other words, it's great. You can mention it, just build your case, but you could get away with just those 3 things. Okay. And that sort of got my head back into focusing. Like, don't worry about, oh my God, I missed this or I put this in wrong. It's going to destroy my entire suit. No. You got to get to a certain point and just go like this. Okay, I'm done.
The rules for pro se's. And I want to tell people this right now that's still in here. So there was a point where Brandon was going to go through and make a completely common law pleading. I read a 1,000-page book on how to plead a common law pleading, okay, to deal with the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians. And let me tell y'all something, folks. People that say they want to go back to the common law are insane. And how to plead in the common law, because it was much more technical than what we have today. So now I want to cite the case law for pro se litigants, right? Pro se litigants are given much more leeway in the district courts, trial courts, and appellate courts for not knowing the intricacies. But here's the beautiful thing. A pro se litigant that's wielding the rules of evidence and rules of procedure are better than 90% of the lawyers out there.
Listen, when I first sent my very first discovery request out, after you read the jurisdictionary course, you do this stuff, and the first time you're doing it, you're like a little kid. Oh, let me try this. Let me see how it works. So I sent admissions to the sewer authority attorney. Now, listen, you know what admissions are. Here's how you answer admissions, people. Yes, no, or accepted, denied, or not enough information.
Right.
Accepted,
Without
denied,
knowledge.
or not information. That's it. They're your three answers. Those, you don't elaborate, okay? So I send these admissions questions out. They should be accepted, denied, or not enough information to respond. I get paragraphs back for each discovery, for each admission. Instead of just saying accepted or denied, he wrote me paragraphs. I looked at that and I went, he broke every rule of what I was taught. You ever give anyone more information than they need? You never want to do that, right? Your opponent, why would you give me paragraphs when all you can say is denied or accepted? When I seen that, I went, wow, here's an experienced attorney with probably a $250,000 education. He don't know the basics of discovery, of just saying accepted, denied, or not enough information. He like a fun, that's like saying, hey, listen, when you're playing baseball and you're holding the bat, keep your hands together. Don't hold them like this. It's like a basic fundamental thing. He didn't know it or didn't use it. And I went, wow.
It's amazing because what you'll find out is that most of them are so used to being in the administrative courts that they really don't know the rules of evidence and the rules of procedure.
It makes them lazy and fat is what it does. Right. They get used to the judge doing that. And then when you or I come along and we bang them with stuff they haven't seen before from a pro se, dude, they're not prepared. They're not practiced. They don't read it and they don't understand it.
That's right. They really don't. And it's fun. Look, guys, I promise you, if it's going to turn from a mindset of worry, anxiety, and fear into one of power, love, and a sound mind, and you're walking around with a baseball bat and you're like, homie, don't play that. That's what you're doing with these people.
When we left the court yesterday, my buddy Carmen was with me. Carmen, big biker, like the big guy, I think the lawyer was intimidated because Carmen's right behind me. And I said, listen, like you said, I couldn't contain it anymore. I kept it together in court. But when I got outside with him, it just came out. And I said some choice words to him, called him some things, and told him, you mess with my property, I hope you had good insurance. I said, here's what's going to happen to you. I'm going to bar grieve your ass back to the Stone Age. That's going to affect your insurance. I'm going to file state criminal complaints against you. And then I'm going to sue your ass in a Title 42, 1983 suit. And you're going to learn just who the hell I am. Okay? You want to involve yourself in property you have no rights to? You're going down. Dude, he never opened his mouth. He like scurried away like the rat he was. Okay? He knows right away. Now, listen, I'm not proud of myself for that. Okay? That's just one of those things. It came out. But he knows one thing now. I'm not afraid of him a little bit. I not only have no fear of him, I got no respect for him at all. I'm not worried about fighting him. That's a worry to your opponent. Okay? Bullies like to beat people up that they can control and beat up. They don't like somebody that steps up and says, hey, you want to get it on? Let me show you what I'm going to do to you. And that's what you do with this stuff. It's empowering.
And when you exhibit the mindset that you can't take anything from me in this reality, if you think I'm ever going to go lay down and just put a belly up, it's not going to happen, Halls. It's not going to happen any way, any shape, or any form. And that mindset exudes out. Okay, because they're not operating on those same principles. I could promise you that.
No, listen, my property has a lot more value to me than to him. Okay, in other words, I will fight you to the death for it. Yeah. You think he's going to fight me to the death for it? Yeah. If you think when I go after him and I now put his property in jeopardy, something he's never seen before, where he's over there toying with other people's properties by doing all these illegal things. He's been getting away with this for years, maybe decades. He's been getting away with it. Now I'm coming after him. I'm going to put at risk everything he's ever worked for and everything he's ever owned. Because now I'm going to sue him not only his official capacity, in his individual capacity, which means I can go after everything he owns, basically. So if I get a judgment against him for $1 million, he better have $1 million sitting in an account somewhere burning a hole in his pocket, or it's going to hurt him some way. If he ain't got the $1 million, well, guess what? Now we got to go get his house. We got to go sell his house to make up the money he owes me, or his car or whatever. When he sees you coming at him with that ferocity, these attorneys will back away from you, okay? So it's like anything. It's why we tell you not to get attorneys. No one's ever going to fight your cause harder than you, all right? No one's ever going to they're not going to put the energy into what you're going to do. And the people that Brandon and I have seen that have been totally successful, ton of people that have been successful, they've done it themselves, okay? They took the stuff we taught them and they executed it, but they did it themselves. And once you get that little success, I don't care how little it is, if it's getting your school to drop the mask mandates, okay? Don't care how little the win is. Once you get that, it becomes addicting. It feeds your knowledge, your need for knowledge, because you're going to go, wow, look what I just did. And one of the things I laugh about, and I tease Steve about, and I think Steve was teasing me, and he said, no, he wasn't. I told him, I said, Steve, I said, for 30 years since I lived here, when the sewer authority would send you a bill, Brandon, on the back, it was all these threats. If you didn't pay this bill, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. It was like, I'm talking threatening, okay? For 30 years they did that. When I started submitting record requests back in 2019, I attacked that right away. Hey, sure looks like mail fraud to me, extortion. You people are posting threats on the back if I don't pay you. Guess what's not on the back of those bills anymore? It's white paper. Right. They took it off. That was because of me, okay? Nobody else was fighting this. That was me. Evidently, somebody in their legal department or their lawyer said, hey, we better get that off the back of that bill. This guy could actually come after us for this because it sure looks like extortion. Now, Steve goes, no, I never did that. I said, no, you just got like $50 million in judgments. I'll trade you. I'll give you the blank paper for the 50 million judgments, you know. But the point is, listen, once you get that little success, you'll be stunned at how your mind will open. You'll start believing this stuff. And it's almost like the knowledge gate opens up and things will just start to make sense and work for you. And then you'll have another success. And then that'll build. And you'll see it. It'll just, they keep coming. They keep coming. And the more they come, the more it's like anything. You always want to get better at something, especially when you're starting to have success. You want to get better at it. And you'll start to really dig into the law stuff. Listen, me and Brandon don't want to do this stuff. I got many more things I'd rather do with my time than to read case law and read American jurisprudence and write paperwork all day, because that's what I do. But I can't say it's not empowering, okay?
Yes.
I don't fear people. I don't fear my municipalities. I don't fear the county. I don't fear any of these people. First of all, I fear one thing, my creator. When I die, how am I going to look in his eyes, okay? That's what I care about. I don't care about these people. These people can't hurt me. And now I know they can't hurt me because I know how to put legal roadblocks up against them. Every time they move, I will keep legally roadblocking them. And then when I file this property tax suit, I will become the most unpopular person in Delaware County, okay? That I won't be able to get a traffic ticket in Delaware County in a couple of weeks. Because once this suit hits, it'll spread like wildfire around to the different townships and the boroughs of what's going on. Your name, listen, you will be infamous in your county, okay? Your name will start to spread around, and they will say, leave that guy alone, okay? Because they got 99.9% of the other monkeys that they can go generate revenue from. And if you're that one monkey that takes them in and sues them, they are going to leave you alone. So one of the things we can empower you with is, hey, listen, you actually don't have to run around suing people all the time. That's not what this is about. If you file that one lawsuit and it's a humdinger, okay, and you get that settlement, they're going to learn who you are real quick. And guess what? You're probably not going to have any problems with your local county and your local town. And the cops are probably going to leave you alone because they are going to know your name. Trust me.
Well, that's going to go back into what we're finding out now, that there's an international database that we're finding out where people are really classified as sovereign citizens. Right now, right. They use it against union.
We're
right?
probably in there.
We're probably in there. We're probably in there. But I guarantee you that once you win a couple of these lawsuits, what's going to happen? You're going to go in that database also as he's sovereign.
Wait, in the best, I gotta find the best clip I've ever seen. Is there's a clip of two cops. They pulled over this SUV and they're on the side of the road, and they got the body cameras running. Okay, and the cops are talking to each other, and you don't see them, but you hear them talking. And the one's trying to pull up the computer information and run the guy's license plate. And the one guy says, "O-F," okay? "Oh, shit, O-F," you know? And the other guy goes, "What?" He goes, "That's the guy." "That's him?" "That's the guy." Well, here's what happened. Evidently, the police station and the local town there, they were running an illegal rodeo. Okay? They were pooping animals. Their rodeo, like they were doing all kinds of heinous stuff to animals. They had this little rodeo thing going together, the police station and the town. This guy in the SUV sued them, sued the city, sued the cops. He sued the town. He beat him. He beat him in federal district court under Title 42, 1983. Okay? He whacked him. So these two are talking. Oh my God, that's the guy. And you hear the one guy say, "Oh shit, we're going to get sued." And you hear the other guy go, "This guy's the real deal." Now, his reputation preceded him. As soon as they pulled his name up, he filed that one lawsuit and won. They knew who he was. And guess what? I didn't see the conclusion of that traffic stop, but I'm going to bet they probably sent him on his way. Okay? They didn't do anything to him. And this is what you want to do. And here's what you also got to realize. By you doing this, you're going to be one of the very few in your county or your town that are doing this. That's another thing that's going to make you stand out. It's not like there's 200 people around me that are doing this in my county. I'm probably maybe I'm the only one I know of, okay? Because I don't hear this from anybody else doing this stuff in my county, in my township. So if you do this stuff, they are going to know who you are real quick, okay? Your reputation will precede you, which is a good thing because that's where your freedom comes from. It's not about birth certificates or filing statuses. It's about being left alone because people fear you on what you can do, okay? That's where your freedom comes from. Guys like Steve Emerson. Steve never has anybody suing him. The co-guy never comes near his house, okay? He got nobody bothering him. Because why? Because Steve will thump them, and they know it. That's what we're trying to help you people to be, and that's what we're trying to be. We want to be that big gorilla too that walks around and goes pound, pound, pound. You know.
Well, yeah, and look, it's really so. And for any of y'all that haven't been paying attention, if you want to take your time at the end of this, you can actually get the whole complaint. I shared it while Alphonse was talking. I'll keep going. You can pause it. You got the whole complaint right here. Everywhere for clause, request for relief. I did the whole thing. But the truth is that I envision a day where I'm just left alone. Okay. And that's what I'm working for. That's what I'm working towards. Right. I have the common law right from God to just simply be left the hell alone. Right. I don't invade anybody else's property. I don't invade anybody else's privacy. I know as a reasonable man, my duties towards each and every one around me, I don't breach that duty. Now you're going to stop breaching yours.
I seen this great cartoon the other day. It was the one guy, the cartoon says, "I just want to be left alone," the guy says. And they got like the cops together. Oh, got another one of them sovereign citizens. Yeah. I just want to be left alone. You know, that's what it all comes down to. That's right.
That's right. And look, I do enjoy this because what this, so law and spirituality, these ideas are intertwined. Okay. They really are. And so we're at a point in society where we're as dumb as a box of rocks. Folks, this can be defeated though, like everything else. It can alwausness be defeated. You do it with righteousness and justice.
Explain what it does for your spirit and the empowerment.
That's
when
right.
You take a bully, like an attorney that acts like a bully, and you get in his face and you make him back away from you, okay? And we do it all the time, okay? I got an attorney fired. I told you the sewer authority. He got fired, okay? That's empowering because, listen, they're not used to this. They're not used to you and me getting in their face and going, "Hey, guess what? You just made a major mistake. You have no idea of the can of worms you just opened up." And then when you start working through this process like Brandon and I talk about, where you file bar grievances, judicial complaints, state criminal complaints, federal criminal complaints, and file that civil lawsuit for a huge amount of damages, they will come to they may hate you. Okay, I'm sure I'm hated, but they will respect you. Hey, listen, I might hate somebody, but there are people I respect. Okay,
that's right.
They can hurt you. Okay, And that's what you want to be. I don't care, like I said, I don't care if I'm loved, right? I don't care if I'm loved,
Doesn't
I
bother
just
me.
want to be right. Doesn't matter to me. I just want to be respected.
What anybody thinks about me does not dissuade me. I live in my own little world, folks. I don't allow any outside penetration into this kingdom right here. I'm completely oblivious to what people say about me.
Right.
Hey, Alphonse, bless you, brother. Thank you for coming to spend the time with us
Always
again.
good. Always good.
We're gonna do it again soon.
Sure.
I think this one with the administrative law and I knew we had to do it. From the time we did it last time, I knew there was going to be something else that exploded our knowledge too. And guys, do y'all understand this? When we get it, we share it. When the epiphany happens for us and we tie it in, we instantly share it.
We just saved you 10, 20 years of work, basically.
Yes.
I mean, there's people that are still doing this stuff, that there's attorneys working right now that don't understand that there's an administrative law process and a judicial process. You just have, like I said, we've handed it to you. We've given you a head start. Just take from this video and this foundation, and go read the documents Brandon's copied on administrative law and the stuff I put up on administrative law. You have such a head start above everybody right now. Now you know what you're dealing with traffic court and all this other crap that's going on. You got the basics.
Yep.